Welcome to Adding Dollars. In this video, I'll be going over my weekly update on the highest volatility stocks, so stocks that are paying the highest premiums for covered calls and cash secured puts. Before jumping into this week's scan, if you're new to cash secured puts or covered calls, make sure to check out the videos in the description. Now let's go ahead and jump into this week's high volatility scan. As always, I'm in the Thinkorswim platform and I'm on the scan tab, and I'm going to be scanning the S&P 500. If you want to see me scan a different list of stocks, feel free to leave that down below in the comments. Here we now have a list of the highest implied volatility stocks in the S&P 500, sorted by the highest volatility at the top and then descending from there. So at the top of the list, looks like we have Super Microcomputer Inc., and this is after hours data. So some of this may change when the market opens or when this video comes out on Monday afternoon. It looks like it has earnings coming up on April 30th, so in less than 2 weeks. So volatility is probably going to continue to increase as we get closer, and therefore the premiums will continue to probably get higher as well, depending on how the stock moves. Currently trading at $713 and has an implied volatility of about 113%. We can jump over to the trade tab and take a look at what kind of premiums it's currently paying out. And I'm going to be looking at the 5 days out option, so options expiring this upcoming Friday. As always, I have this custom column on my trading platform that quickly calculates the percentage profit for selling a cash secured put, and it also gives you an estimate for selling a covered call as well, depending on how much premium each strike price is paying out. If you're interested in adding this to your own trading platform, feel free to check out the link in the description where I have instructions on how to add this to your own platform. Now let's start by looking at cash secured puts. It looks like you could sell the 550 cash secured put and still make about 1% in premium in just 5 days. So that means you would collect about $540 for selling that cash secured put. But if you did end up getting assigned, you would need $55,000 in order to buy 100 shares of the stock. On the covered call side, you could currently buy 100 shares for $71,365, and then you could sell the call option at the $715 strike price and collect about $4,210 in just 5 days, or about 6.11%. Jumping back to the scan tab, let's take a look at a couple more in a different price range. Let's go ahead and look at Etsy, one that we haven't looked at in a while. Looks like it also has earnings coming up relatively soon on May 1st after market. Currently trading at about $66.76 with an implied volatility of about 66.9%. Jumping back to the trade tab, let's go ahead and look at the premium. Again, 5 days out. Looks like you could sell the 64 cash secured puts and make about 1.09%, which means you would collect about $68 for selling that cash secured put. And if you did end up getting assigned on this position, you would need 64 times 100, because each option contract is equivalent to 100 shares. So you would need $6,400 in order to purchase the 100 shares. On the covered call side, you could buy 100 shares right now for $6,676, and then you could go ahead and sell the 67 call option and collect about $161, or about 2.43% in 5 days. Jumping back to the scan tab, let's go ahead and look at one more. Looks like a lot of stocks have earnings coming up relatively soon. Let's look at Align Technologies. I don't think we've looked at this one before, and it looks like it has earnings coming up really soon, so later this week on April 24th, and it is currently trading at about $298.98 and has an implied volatility of about 64.57%. Let's jump to the trade tab and look at the premium. Looks like you could sell about the $260 strike price and make about 1.21% in 5 days. Although, yes, this does have earnings coming up in between this time period, so depending on how earnings come out, the stock may move sharply up or down. But in this case, if you did sell the $260 cash secured put, you could collect about $290 for selling that. And your risk here is if you did end up getting assigned, it would cost you $26,000 in order to purchase the 100 shares. On the covered call side, you could currently buy 100 shares for $29,898, and then you could go ahead and sell the $300 call options and collect $1,540, or about 5.27%. But again, because this stock does have earnings coming up before this option expires, the stock may skyrocket higher or drop down lower, ending up with you either getting a sign on a cash secured put or getting a sign on a covered call and having your shares taken away. Jumping back to the scan tab, feel free to pause the video and take a look at the full list of stocks. There are so many stocks with earnings coming up, most likely this week or in the following weeks. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to leave any questions or comments down below.